Hey everyone, happy Monday. Angie here, and we are going to do about 45 minutes or so of a yoga session together. And we're going to focus tonight a good bit on back health. So we'll be doing a little bit with core strengthening. We'll be doing some back bending, but while on our bellies. And so lots of Cobra Pulses tonight. We will go into our Tadasana, our locust series as well. So I'm glad you could join me. And we will be using some props as well. If you have a yoga strap, you can grab that, or a belt to a robe, anything that you have that resembles this. And then we will be doing a little bit of shoulder opening using a couple of blocks. All right, if you don't have blocks, don't worry about it. You can just use the mat instead, and I'll show you how to go about that. So namaste, and let's get started. So come to the top of your mat. We're actually going to start standing up. I'm going to turn my heat off because it's nice and warm in here now. So come to a standing position, mountain pose. We're going to have our feet about hip width apart. Move these out of my way. And at first, we're just going to stand here in mountain pose, Tadasana, and get grounded. So rolling the shoulders open, dropping the tailbone down, pulling those lower abdominal muscles up to engage the core, but also to create more space in your back body. Dropping that tailbone down is kind of the first step in decompressing. And so maybe you close your eyes here, or you just send the gaze down the tip of your nose and let your eyes rest. And let that restfulness of the eyes start spreading throughout your face. All the way up to the crown of the head, all the way back to the scalp. Really focusing in on softening through the jaw, and so maybe moving the jaw can help. Another thing that can help here is to press the tongue on the roof of your mouth. And let your upper teeth slightly part from your lower teeth. And just let that softness start moving throughout the body, relaxing through the shoulders as they roll open, slide down your back body, letting your arms hang heavy. Finding a slight bend through the knees, so again, it's easier to drop that tailbone, keep pulling the lower abdominal muscles up. Even relaxing through the feet and the toes. Notice if you're gripping onto the ground with the toes, just let that gripping go. And let the palms come together at the heart center. And as we stand here in this grounded mountain pose, just inviting whatever intention, whatever focus, whatever dedication you need for this practice, setting that for yourself in the next few rounds of breath. And then each time you notice your mind wander through this practice, which is what our minds are inclined to do, you can just bring your awareness back to this intention that you're setting now. Big breath in. As the breath flows out, release your arms down by your sides. Feet are staying at that hip width distancing. Knees start to bend, and we're just going to sort of gently fold over the legs, letting yourself hang, upper body hangs over the legs. Crown of the head hangs too. Keep those knees bent. So this is not so much about hamstring flexibility as it is, you know, about just opening through the back body, starting to relax through the muscles, especially those lower back muscles in the sacral area of that lumbar spine. And the more we can direct the crown of the head down, the more we can feel that opening stretch spread up into the mid-spine and even into your neck and the cervical spine. One more breath here. And then start to activate your core, coming up partway flat back, really pull the navel in. And as you exhale, fold again, keep that activation. Maybe see if the legs want to extend a bit more, but maintain that bend in the knees. Inhale up partway flat back again. Pull the navel in. Exhale into your fold. One more time, inhale, flat back. Exhale, folding over the legs, let the head hang. And then if you did extend the legs a good bit through that, then bend the knees again. Keep them bent fairly deeply. And then keep your core activated as you tuck your chin and roll yourself up safely, slowly. All the way upright, roll the shoulders open, let the palms of the hands come together at the heart. And then we're going to come into our half salute. So inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up partway, flat back. Exhale and fold. Inhale, slight bend through the knees. Reach the arms out wide. Core is activated up. Exhale, hands come to rest at the chest. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, folding. Slight bend in the knees. If you have lower back tenderness, then the knee bend will be deeper. Inhale up partway, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide, coming up. Exhale, hands come to rest at the chest. One more time. Inhale, reaching out and up. Looking up as the palms touch, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide, coming up. Exhale, hands come to rest at the chest. And then release your arms down by your side. So we're going to do a little bit of warming movement with some arm circles so that we're nice and ready to then move on to some of the strap work with the shoulder opening. So, feet are hip width apart, arms are out by your sides, and we're just going to start with little circles. We're going to do about 15. Keep it going. About 5 more in this direction. And then 15 little circles in the opposite direction. About 5 more. And now we're going to make those circles bigger. So big circles back. I'll do 10 of these. 3, 5, 7, and 10. And then opposite direction, forward for 10. 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as you can feel, just that little bit kind of warmed through the arms and through the shoulders. So grab your strap. And what we're going to do here, take your hands out to the ends of the strap. And you're going to make the strap much, much wider than shoulder width apart. So inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Some of us are going to stop at about this halfway point, but others of us might have the flexibility to move all the way down. Either way, inhale back up, exhale, and lower. We're going to do that 4 more times. Inhale, up, exhale, halfway back or all the way back. You can keep the arms straight. Inhale back up, exhale, lower. 3 more. Inhale up, exhale back, inhale up, and exhale lower. Check in, are your knees bent? A slight bend to the knees. We want to keep dropping that tailbone down, activating through the core to protect the back. And then 1 more of these, up and back. Inhale back up, exhale, and lower down. And then just take that strap off to the side. We'll probably use this again if we don't run out of time. Coming back to the top of your mat. And maybe this time the feet are a little closer together in a closed mountain, okay? Unless that's uncomfortable for you and you need to take more space. Tailor it to your body. Let it fit your body because this is your practice. All right, inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up partway, flatten your back, just like we were doing before. Exhale, fold. Hands to the mat, even if it requires bending your knees. And then step or hop your feet back into plank. Lower your knees. Hug the elbows in as you lower down with control to the belly. Here we're going to start with some of those Cobra Pulses, those basic Cobra Pulses. So slide your hands face level. And then tip of the nose touches the mat at first. Then we're just going to inhale. And it's almost like you're doing a crunch into the ground to activate through the core, and that's going to lift your upper body. Exhale. Lower down. And again, inhale. Lifting up. Exhale. And lower. We're going to do 3 more just like that. Notice I'm keeping my head positioned in a way that keeps the neck long rather than trying to look straight out in front of me. 2 more. Inhale up. And exhale, lower down. 1 more. Inhale up. And exhale, lower. Slide your hands to chest level. Inhale, coming up onto the hands and the knees. Exhale, pressing the hips back into child's pose, and just let the forehead rest. Either on the ground, or you can stack the fists, stack the hands. Whatever works for you. Relax through your shoulders, even though your arms are extended out. Try not to, have the shoulders tight here. Instead, relax. Maybe bend the elbows a little bit to facilitate that softening. And then from here, just inhale, coming up onto your fingertips, but we still keep the lower body in Balasana, in child's pose. Now as we exhale, we walk the hands to the right side and then fold. And as we fold, allow the head to rest on your arm. Some folks might have their heads on the ground here. Again, whatever fits your body, whatever fits your practice. 1 more breath. Inhale, coming back upright. Walking the hands back center. And then to the other side. Exhale, folding. And again, resting your head. Opening through the side body here. It's right side body. And then slowly walking the hands back to center. We're going to come up onto the hands and the knees. Curl the toes. And then send your hips up into that first downward facing dog. So maybe bicycling the legs here by bending one knee, sending the opposite heel down toward the mat. Keeping your navel hugged in, protecting that back body. 1 more breath. And slowly start to walk the feet up toward the top of your mat. Back to that closed mountain if you can. Inhale up partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide, coming up. Exhale, hands rest at the chest. All right, so then another little shoulder opening break here in between our sun salutes. Grab your strap again. So for this one, we start with the hands at the edges of the straps. Hey Amanda, I'm glad you're with us. But what we're gonna do, I'll show you, we're at the end of the straps, but then I'm just gonna take and roll the hands, the strap around the hands toward one another. Take some doing until you can get the hands really close together like this, okay? And then the entire time we do this exercise, we're going to maintain activation by trying to pull the hands apart from each other the whole time, all right? And just make sure that you do this in a mindful way so you're not pulling so much to where there's tension through the joints, to the elbows or the shoulders, but enough to where we feel that activation through the arms and shoulder muscles. So I'm going to step back so you can see what we're doing. Inhale, and keep pulling the hands away from each other as you reach your arms straight up. And then as you exhale, I'll kind of turn a little bit. We're going to bring the hands back behind the body as the elbows bend, still pulling the hands far, far away from one another. Inhale, back up. Exhale, and lower the arms back down. All right, we're going to do that 4 more times. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, gently pulling down. Activating. Inhale, back up. Exhale, lower. So staying patient here, trying not to rush. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower as the elbows bend. Inhale, back up. Exhale, lower. Checking in. Knees are bent, tailbone dropped. Core is activated. 2 more. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bending the elbows, hands behind the head. Inhale, back up. Exhale, lower. 1 more time. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Elbows bend. Inhale, reaching back upright. And then exhale. And lower. And then release that activation through the arms. Let the strap go. Put it down. And come back to the top of your mat. Hands at the heart center. Inhale, reaching out and up. Looking up as the palms touch. Exhale, folding forward, hinging from the hips. Inhale, partway flatten the back. Exhale, fold. Stepping or hopping back into plank, shifting forward on the toes, either lower the knees like we did before, or full chaturanga. Inhale, cobra like we did before, or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. We're gonna hang out for 4 more breaths here. So in down dog especially, this is a good time to really get connected with that Ujjayi breath. So 2 more, audible breath here. And the navel hugged in, sits bones reaching toward the wall behind you, pressing through the hands like you're trying to straighten out the mat in front of you. And then you can take a step or as many steps, or you could take flight and hop the feet to the top of the mat, your choice. Inhale up, partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, knees are bent, stretch the arms out wide, coming up. Exhale, hands come to rest at the chest. All right, and release the arms. Grab your blocks, have them handy in case you need them to lunge. Okay, so if you're, lunging is really challenging for you, you can have, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can have a block on either side for your lunge, to have your hands on the blocks if you can't quite reach the ground. All right, so just have those blocks handy in case you need them. Hands up the chest, inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up, partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the right foot back. Exhale, right knee to the mat. And then inhale, either come up right hands on the blocks or reach the arms up if that's available. Big breath in. As the breath flows out, we're going to come into a twist here. So right hand either on the block or on your mat as you twist toward your left side. If it felt okay, you could look up beyond that lifted left hand. If it felt okay from there, you might even lift your back knee. You can even reach back even further if that's available. One more breath. And then hands to the mat, stepping back into your plank. Keep your core activated here to protect that lower back, shifting forward. Either lower the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Pressing firmly back with the hands. Shoulders are sort of broadening here. We find that external rotation through the upper arms as the lower arms, forearms internally rotate. Pressing through the thumbs and the index fingers to do that. One more breath. And we're going to step the right foot forward, left knee to the mat. Remember, you can use your blocks here if you need a little support, or come all the way upright if that's available and reach the arms up in an upward salute. Big breath in. Exhale, left hand comes down right underneath that left shoulder so you can twist towards this right side. Lunging twist. Looking up beyond the lifted right hand, beyond those fingers, if that's available, maybe even lifting the back knee. Taking one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly start to come back to center, shift the weight forward. As you step the left foot in, coming up partway, flatten the back. Exhale, fold. Hanging out here, just comparing how this forward fold feels, compared to how you felt at the very beginning when we were doing our forward fold, okay? How is it different? Do you feel a little warmer? Do you feel a little more open? Hopefully you do. Inhale up, partway, flat back. Hug that navel in. Exhale, fold. Two more, inhale up, partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Strengthening through that back body, strengthening through the core. Inhale up, partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. So when we strengthen through the core, we want to think about the core as not just in the front of the body, but this sort of girdle, this core girdle that wraps around the entire body, those core muscles. So then hands to the mat, stepping back into plank, and then lower the knees. Press the hips back into child's pose, and just resting here as I adjust for the camera for some of our mat work that we're about to do. Make it a little shorter and a little closer. Get it. There we go. I think that's got the whole view. All right, so from child's pose, let's come up to the hands and the knees. Here's where we're going to use those blocks if you have them. If you don't, that's okay too. It just makes it a little easier or a little more of a stretch with our blocks. So we're going to put the elbows onto the blocks, and then the head is going to rest on the ground in between the blocks, okay? If you don't have blocks, you just do this, okay? If you have your blocks though, Then you're going to stack the elbows on top of your blocks here. Let the palms of the hands come together on Jali Mudra, and then the hands come back behind you. Forehead rests on the ground. So the elbows are sort of reaching forward as you draw your hips back. And you get that nice opening through the shoulders and through the armpits. Breathing here. Two more breaths. And slowly start to release the arms away from the back body. As you come off of the blocks, move those over to the side. Forward now. Coming up onto your hands and knees again. We're going to do a little bit with cat and cow. It's a really good sort of daily movement that we can do. The heels of the hands are right underneath your shoulders. The knees are right underneath your hips. Core is activated. Inhale and come into your dog till sits bones and the crown of the head lifts. And extending through the spine. And as we exhale, we start to round through the spine, tucking the chin, pressing the hips forward into that cat tilt. And back and forth 4 more times. Inhale, dog tilt. Exhale, cat. Inhale, dog tilt. And exhale, cat. Keep that going 3 more times, making sure we're not sinking down into the shoulders, but pushing up through the hands. 2 more. This is a really good one to do either in the morning when we first wake up and we're kind of tight through the body. It's also really good to do as part of your nighttime routine, just to wind down, make the body feel really good before you lay down to rest. And then coming back to a neutral positioning. We're going to do a little more with core strengthening before we come to the belly for locust series. So left knee comes a little closer into your midline here. Inhale, reach your right leg back behind you. Exhale, pull the knee in toward the head, head toward the knee. And 4 more times like that. Inhale, reaching back. Exhale, crunching in. 3 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. 2 more. Inhale, extend, and then exhale, round. And 1 more. Inhale, extend, and exhale as you round. Let that knee come down to the mat. Same thing other side. So right knee's a little closer in toward your midline. Inhale, left leg reaches back, extending. Exhale, hugging that knee in toward the head, head toward the knee. 4 more. Inhale, reaching out. Don't worry if your knee does not touch your forehead. You're just trying to get as close as you can. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Round. 2 more. Inhale, extend. And then exhale, drawing in. 1 more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale. And round. And then lowering that knee down to the mat. We're going to lower all the way down to the belly now. And so do a little bit more with shoulder opening. Make sure you have room beside you to go like this, like an airplane with your arms, okay? So then from here, we're going to actually keep this left arm extended out to the left side. And right now my arms are shoulder level, okay? But I want to take this left arm and basically line my hand up with my head rather than down by my shoulder, okay? If that makes sense. So pretty much level with the head. And then with the right hand, I'm going to take and place that beside the chest, the right side of the chest. Now lift your right foot. So the right knee is still on the ground. I'm just bending that knee to lift the foot in the air. And then I'm going to very carefully press through this right hand to roll toward my left side. And for some of us, we're going to have this top leg just kind of resting on the lower leg. The foot can be on the ground behind you. If you're a little more flexible here, you may be able to actually put the toes or the sole of the foot, of that right foot, onto the ground, and that's just going to roll you more so toward that left side. You're opening through that left shoulder. You feel a stretch through the left side of your chest as well. One more breath here. And then slowly start to roll onto the belly. Again, we'll do the same thing, other side. So now the right arm is extended. The right hand is going to come up to where it's a little bit higher, so it's in line with your head rather than your shoulder. Left hand, left side of the chest. Palm pressing into the ground. Lift that left foot. Start pressing through the left hand as you roll toward your right side. Some of us may be here in more of a beginner version. Or if you're a little more flexible, you might have the big toe on the ground or the sole of the foot on the ground. Pressing, but not pushing beyond where your edge is here. One more breath. And slowly start to return back to the belly. And we're going to come into our locust series now. So just do the best you can here. First, we're going to start with a supported version, and then we're going to try to work our way up into the non-supported. And then for those of you that are working on your bow pose, you're done your asana, then we'll practice that as well. So we start with the hands not in line with the chest, but heels of the hands moving to where they're lining up with the waistline, basically. And it sort of puts the arms in this kind of grasshopper position. The elbows stay bent. We try not to let them sag out to the sides because that's going to round the shoulders forward and keep the shoulders rolled back. And that's going to help lift that heart center. So the pulse is this. We inhale and we're supporting ourselves with our hands as the upper body lifts. We exhale and we start to lift the legs. Inhale, pausing here. And then exhale, everything lowers down and relax. 4 more times like that. Inhale. Upper body lifts. Keep the head in line with the neck. Exhale. Legs lift. Holding here. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. 3 more. Inhale, upper body. Exhale, the legs. Inhale, holding. Exhale, release. Strengthening through that back core girdle. 2 more. Inhale. Upper body. Exhale, lift the legs. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale. Upper body. Exhale the legs. Inhale, hold here. Exhale and release. Stack one hand on top of the other. We're going to take 3 crocodile breaths before we move on by resting the forehead onto the stacked hands. Feel the belly pressing into the mat as you breathe in, retrieving away a bit as you breathe out. 2 more. Breath like that. 1 more. Good. So now we have the option of staying in that supported locust with the hands down. All right. And I'll show you how to progress from there. So inhale, upper body. Exhale, lift the legs, and then decide, are we going to keep the hands on the ground? Are we going to extend the arms out by our sides, reaching back, fingers reaching back, shoulders rolled open? Or are we going to clasp the hands and either let the hands rest there if you have tightness through the shoulders, or see about lifting the hands away from the body, kind of pressing them back, and that's going to bring the chest up a little higher. Spread the toes so that the legs are activated here. Take 2 more breaths. Your hands might be on the ground, and that's okay too. 1 more breath. And then slowly start to lower. We are purposefully avoiding going straight back into a child's pose, but instead letting the spine rest in our crocodile breath. So 3 more crocodile breath here. One more breath. And then we're going to come into our half bow. So just like we were doing with the shoulder opening, let that right foot come up into the air by just bending the knee. And then here's where, you may have to kind of come up and hook or loop the strap around your right foot. For those of you guys that need a little extra help grabbing hold of the foot, if you can't quite grab it, then the strap can come in handy. Let's see if I can do it laying down. Yeah, I can. Takes some doing, but it would be more here if you can't quite grab hold of the foot, okay? So use that strap if you need it, but otherwise, grab hold of the foot and then just draw that heel toward your glute. My left forearm is parallel to the front of the mat, as you can see, and that's just going to give me a little support. And it also gives me a nice little rest for my forehead. And so I'm just getting a good stretch to the quadriceps here, the right side of the body. Pressing the hips slightly forward is going to intensify that stretch, and it's also going to provide more space to the lower back. Now we're going to either stay here, or we may be able to lift the head, or we may be able to even reach that left arm out in front of us. From there, we might even lift the left leg behind us for our half bow. Lifting the chest. 1 more breath wherever you are. And then exhale. And lower 3 crocodile breath. Sending the breath into the back body. 1 more. And then setting up for that other side. So using your strap if you need to grab hold of that left foot. We start with the right forearm parallel to the front of the mat. Big breath in, and we pull that heel in closer and closer toward the body as we rest the forehead at first on the forearm. Some of us are going to stay right here. So if you have lower back issues, you're going to stay here, okay? No further than here. If the lower back feels okay, we might lift the head. We might reach that right arm out. We might lift that right leg. And then the last step from here, if you have it available to you tonight, would be to push that left foot into the hand, and notice how that lifts the chest up. So this is without the push. As soon as I push the foot into the hand, though, this is what happens. I lift up. So 1 more breath, and then slowly lower down. 3 more crocodile breath. And now we're making our way to Dhanurasana to bow. So if that is not available to you, that's okay. Then instead of practicing bow, you'll just practice one of those variations of locust, either hands, here, or clasping the hands, okay? That's your modification, your option. Otherwise, grab hold of the feet, and for you guys that are a little more flexible, grab toward your ankles, and that's going to make it easier to keep hold of the feet, because then we can easily flex our feet like that, and it kind of gives us a nice little hold, a nice little grip. So inhale, lifting the upper body, just like we did in locust. Exhale, lifting the knees, pushing the feet into the hands to lift your chest. 3 more breaths wherever you are. And 1 more. And release. 3 last crocodile breath. And then using your hands, chest level. We're going to press up onto the hands and the knees. And then downward facing dog, just to extend the back body here. Let the head hang. So rather than moving into that immediate child's pose after our back bends, we want to extend to the spine first through downward facing dog, or even a standing forward fold. But down dog for now. Big breath in. As the breath goes out, lower your knees. And then we can press back into that child's pose. Either the knees are together, or you might take the knees wider and let the forehead rest on the hands like we were doing for crocodile breath. 3 breaths here. And then slowly start to bring yourself back upright. So now we're going to situate the body for child's pose. And if you have a bolster, I know I didn't tell you at the beginning, and I'm going to grab mine now too. If you have a bolster, go ahead and grab it. You could also roll blankets into a roll like a bolster. If you don't have that. If you would prefer to be on your back for Shavasana, a more conventional Shavasana, then do that. Otherwise, come into this restorative child's pose instead. And I like to kind of, as you can see, scoop my hands underneath the bolster, and that just gives a little bit more height for my head, which is significantly more restful for the neck, for the cervical spine. Have the head turn to one side. And so you might be lying on your back, and that's fine, to really whatever Shavasana feels right to you. But this is just another option to rest in. Let the breath deepen, let the breath slow down. Whereas when we're in Ujjayi breath, the breath is more audible. Here the breath gets a bit more quiet, calm, cooling. If you're on your bolster, you can actually feel the abdomen with each breath cycle pressing into the bolster as you breathe in, and then releasing away from the bolster as you breathe out. Relax the shoulders as best you can. With each exhalation, just imagine as though you're sending that breath to your back body. Massaging all the muscles surrounding the sacrum, surrounding the spine. Again, if the mind wanders, just bring your awareness back to your breath, back to scanning your body. Whatever you can do to stay present. And then if you do have your head, if you are in supported child's pose, lift your head and turn, look in the opposite direction. Stay with your breath. Each breath now is just happening on its own. I'm turning back this way so I can face the camera. But keep your head turned the opposite direction. A lot of times when we get still in our resting practice, the mind not only wanders, but we might start to notice negative self-talk happening. And if that's the case, then just trying to let that go, trying to focus on more positive self-talk, positive affirmations, anything to redirect that sort of negative pattern that you might notice developing. Shifting that perspective when we need to, whether we're on our yoga mats or off of our mats and in the world. The more we practice that, the more we can respond to conflict appropriately rather than reacting in a highly emotional way. Just a few more breaths here. You're ready to start making your way out. Just turning the head, kind of lifting enough to turn the head to face the bolster. Use your hands on either side of the bolster, kind of underneath your chest. And then just press yourself up. Get the bolster out of the way. And we're coming to a sitting position to end. So just sitting up nice and tall. Using this Sukhasana, easy sitting pose to just check in with your body. Notice how you feel now after this gentle practice. A few more breaths here, really being intentional about the alignment of the body, getting grounded in this sitting pose. That's another thing, the more we can practice getting grounded through our senses, just in everyday life, the better we can, make decisions that are important. And as I said before, the more likely we will be to respond appropriately rather than to react emotionally, which can get us in trouble when we are reactive. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'm glad you started your week on your mat with me. Hopefully that helps motivate you to do more of your home practice as this week unfolds. So I'll see you next Monday at 6:30. So we're here every Monday at 6:30 on this Neva Lomason Library Facebook page. Palms at the center of the heart. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste. All right, bye everybody. Be safe out there. Take care.